Hello and welcome to a new live stream. Give me something to eat. I need synthesizer sounds to eat. Hey, welcome. Welcome to a new live stream. My name is John Skippy Limcool. I'm feeling a little rock and rolly today, I guess. Oh my, yes. Good times are had. It's Halloween. And don't piss me off or I'll send this guy after you. Buy Skippy sounds or else. Anyway. Should I keep this on or not? You guys tell me. What do you think? Is this the look for the live stream? I want to thank you all out there for being fans of mine and yeah, you know, keeping me alive after all these years. Oh, one for the money. Okay, I can't do that. Too hot and sweaty. But it is Halloween, so I want to say greetings and whoa to everybody. Wrong live stream. Yes, this is the wrong live stream. You picked a bad day for this to be the first live stream. I'll tell you that. Anyway, welcome. We have some fun stuff to do. Hey, Bernie. Bill, JX3D, Dog, Bill, Brito, my goodness. Patrick. Yes. So we're going to look at Retrosphere. It's out with my patches included when you log in. I sent out a mailer yesterday and forgot to tell people this, but if you log into your account, you can re-download the library and it now comes with 38 JL patches. That's me. Many more will be added in the next 2 or 3 days. I have Taylor and myself are working to assimilate all of the patches that people are sending. Thank you to all of you that are sending patches. We will put them all together as a side library to this library. It will be a manual install into the Steam folder, probably. I think. I'll try to figure out how to do it. We might make it just a .omnisphere that's a different library, because I don't want to overwrite this with everybody's patches. And then just to confuse things even more, because I love to do that, there'll be one more library, which will be a full final version, which will contain the selected from all of you wonderful people programming patches, plus all the core, plus all the patches that I've made that earn the most of them are good enough to make it. And so we're going to go through that. Also, check this out. This is my wonderful Waldorf Pulse. We're going to be sampling this here shortly to give you maybe just a few pointers, see how it's done. If you haven't seen this before, how you record sounds from hardware that you own so that you can use it in the software that you own. People are totally welcome to make your own libraries day in, day out with anything you have. If you're using something sample-based, that's not going to be something you can sell like as a commercial library, because the samples typically are owned by the company with the name on it. So the D50, you cannot sample that with the samples and then sell it. Those samples are owned by Roland, and they will come after you and say, please take your library down. Same for the most part with Korg synthesizers, although Korg seems to be a little more, even Native Instruments just released something which starts with Korg samples in it, which I was really surprised to find. But they do it. But if it's synthesis based like the Waldorf Pulse, this is 100% analog, 3 oscillators. It's massive in sounding. If you want to hear it, I can go over here, and it's right here. And sound. So one of the other, this is volume 1 of Retrosphere. And I've hinted a little bit that, well, I haven't hinted, I've said there's going to be other versions. Kurt went through and recorded some of his Waldorf synthesizers. And I have a Waldorf, this is the yellow micro Q over here, and my Waldorf Pulse. So I'll be making sounds to put into the Waldorf Retrosphere. And there's also a Roland Retrosphere, and I have some Roland synthesizers. And so I will be making my own sounds to add to the Roland Retrosphere that will be coming out next year sometime. So there's all sorts of stuff to go. For those of you interested in making patches, you can buy Retrosphere on the website and have until tomorrow afternoon, 24 hours from now, to make patches. I want to keep it a little open past the live stream so that, yeah, we'll get out to Juno 60. I have a friend with one I'm going to borrow, so we'll be recording that because it's such a sweet sounding synth. So we'll be doing stuff like that. But if you want to get in on this patch, the thing is this. You buy the library for $29. It will be $39 in November when this is all done. So it's a chance to save $10 right now, which is pretty cool. And all of these... Oh, I need to get over it. These are all samples from Matrix, Oberheim. From Oberheim Synths, not Matrix, but... And you get to some of the pads and stuff, and they're just gorgeous, beautiful... It's a different quality than the other. I mean, there's analog synthesizers recorded into the Omnisphere library. I want to be really clear. There's a ton of samples from Atmosphere and so forth. So, and some of those are obviously better because they're multi-samples, and I can't do multi-samples for these. But it's new samples, and they're lovely. Okay? And then I've taken these, and as one example, taken and programmed... This is adding effects, layering different Oberheim samples on top of each other, filtering. You don't find that with the core patches. These are just the samples. No reverb. Mod wheel is just standard pitch LFO. Whereas when you get to the final patches, there's effects. The mod wheel is doing a lot more things. And everybody's patches are being put into a pool, and the library will be available to everybody. Whether you've put into the pool or not, if you own the library, you get to have, there will probably be, so far we're over 100 patches. So it's going to be a nice free bonus library of patches made by all of you guys. So it's a really cool treat. And then on top of that, we'll go through the patches and the cream of the crop. The ones that we vote the highest on will get put into the final library, and those of you that made those get a credit to have any Omnisphere library from my website you want to get. I'll give it to you. So it's a good thing. So let's see. I might make a few more in the morning. If you want to make a few more in the morning, please make sure in your email you say additional patches, and don't send patches you've already sent. If you send more patches, just send the new ones only and specify in the email these are new patches, and it's just a support@pluginguru.com, and we will add them to everything else that we're doing. So this library, there's a video I just released yesterday going through everything, so I'm not going to go through everything. I can go through a couple of the cooler Stranger sounds. Vintage and Piss came out really cool. No velocity to nothing. Truly, which is really fun. And this is using 3 layers. It's using bird bass and then 2 waveforms. So here's bird bass, the sawtooth, octave up. That gives it a nice And then this has got unison on. Without it, that's one vibe. But turning on unison just makes it that much thicker. And then I wanted just a little bit more sub. So that is what C is providing. So all together, it's really cool. I use this in a song. And by the way, I want to get you guys a link. I've had a couple people ask me about this. Here, I'll play the demo. This is using the new patches that I've been making. So that gives you the idea. Now, I've had a number of people ask about the drum sounds. That's a Linn 9000. Actually, no, the Linn LM2. And I'm going to give you a link. Here, I'll put it into the conversation here on our chat. These are free on the net. I found them. You can download them. Oh, thank you, Patrick. Appreciate that, man. I love 80s. I'm from the 80s, so you know that's speaking my language. This is a website called Trash Audio. I will give them props. They're these 5 guys. They recorded a Linn drum, and you can do a donation. Please do a donation if you would like to support them and say thank you. They're really nice. Lots of variations, really punchy. Now, I loaded those into Super Macho Drums, and I was going to do a little short sidestep here and show you how to do that in Super Macho Drums if you want to do this to make this drum kit work so that you can like program it up like that, where the kick is to its own output, the snare is to its own output through reverb, stuff like that. So the way to do that would be you need to own Super Macho Drums and Kontakt 5 or Kontakt 6. Let's say we just use just one of the pop kits, because we're just going to actually erase everything in it. Because these are a little bit newer sounds than Linn, right? So let's go over here to downloads. To here. Here is the Linn drum folder that you will get from them. I believe it's like 11 megabytes in size, 6.9 megabytes. So inside they actually have 16-bit, 16K, or 44.1. So if you want really low-fi, you can get the Casio sounding version, or you can do the 48K or the 44.1 version. And there's 54 samples. So what you would do inside of Super Macho Drums, I've shown this a number of times, you hit the little tool wrench and you go to the mapping editor. And the concept is this. Super Macho Drums, the thing that makes it really unique is that each drum I could put this through lo-fi, I could envelope it. And I want this snare through a big reverb delay thing. And it's only on that. You can configure Kontakt 5 so you have separate outputs for any sample to go to. It's very flexible on one interface. It's the fastest editing on the planet, in my opinion. So the way that that gets done is because of groups. Each sample is a group. That way each group can have its own unique settings. So what we need to do is go first to the mapping editor, actually to the right here. Get rid of all of these except for one group. Just hit delete and they're gone. And then you can go over here to the group editor and you right click and you say purge empty groups. So that way this one sample is here, and map it way up here up the keyboard. It doesn't matter where. Now we're going to take all of these and you click and drag. And the way that Kontakt works, the spacing changes as you move up and down the keyboard. So I'm going to bring down the keyboard to where it's chromatic every note and let go. And then I can bring this up to here so that it starts on. Now, right now, I'll show you these all work. All the samples are on one group, which means they all change. If I put reverb, they're all reverbed out. Okay, so we have one group up here. There's this cool thing where you can select all the samples and you right click and you say move each zone to its own group and you clone it. Clone means that it takes the settings of this, which is that Super Macho Drums interface, and applies it to every key zone. Boom, it's gonna take it. Back in the day, it took a long time. Today, it doesn't take it very long. And now, they're all to their own. Here's the kick. Now, if you want to move this kick, maybe you want this kick to be at the bottom of the keyboard range right there. So you can just drag it around and then select all these and just move them up one zone. Oh, wait, wrong button. I'm going to click right there so that they move. Oh, if you click in the right spot, you can get it to where, there. So I got the kick here. So now I could mute this out and I could and I have a groove going and I can quantize it. And if I want this kick to be through reverb, they're following the rules. So that's how it works. Okay, so with that in mind, that's how you get these samples. If you own Super Macho Drums, that's how you get them into Super Macho Drums. And now all you have to do, go say save as, and call this a retro kit, and whatever you want to name it, and hit OK. And you can say with samples or just referencing the samples. Just don't delete the samples if you do that. And now you have yourself your own 1982 Linn drum to play with, which is great sound. These toms. Get all your Prince moments back. All sorts of fun things can happen. So that's how you do that, okay? So any questions on, let's see the chat. I am from the 90s. I was born in the 80s, but I grew up in the 90s. I like the good old stuff. Yes, Super Macho Drums is, I tell you, I've got all the different drum things people own. Oh, wait, delete. And it really is, I've worked with them all. And I wanted one page where you have lots of effects, 2 reverbs, and 1 reverb I put band hits and all sorts. So if you want, you could say, no, I want this to be a band sting. You know, you can do crazy things. The kits that come with it, I've designed the kits in Korg workstations for 20 years, so I know how to do drums pretty good. So there's a lot of really good kits. And the groove player, blah, blah, blah. There's lots of videos I've done on Super Macho drums, so I'm not going to eat up the whole live stream because we want to get into other stuff. But that's a Linn drum for you to play with for free. Happy Halloween. Retrosphere. Let me show you some more of the JL patches. Evil Chime Master. Horror chimes. And again, the Oberheim samples are, you know, analog. But it's really easy to... we'll make a couple patches here in a little bit because we just can't help it. BPM stuff. I did the John Carpenter The Thing. I finalized it so that... Great low end. Sounds so nice. Counting sheep for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a cool, like, it's not on the downbeats. So, I got this set for some reason so that, what did I do? Preferences, audio. Let's say just the Apollo. 1 second, I'm gonna push a button and blow everything up. I'll be right back. So I should be back. Now when I hit play, is it okay? Okay, yeah. I had set up something to try to maybe get a more complex recording stuff, but it didn't work out, so I stopped that. But I didn't like that I couldn't talk, so I could, let's see, if we go, where were we at? We were here. Oh, that's right. So if I have a little groove going, right? So that's happening and doing its thing. This patch here, it's got gaps at the downbeat, so we quantize it. 1, 2. And then quantize it so it's even tighter, because play the mod wheel. It's designed to give you a lot of cool range to play with there. So stuff like that. Retrosphere. Where are we at? Why is it? Oh, we need to be on this. Sunburst is very retro in vibe. That's for Stranger Things Series 3, Season 3. That was used at the beginning of this. How's that sound there? Snap Queen. So a lot of fun stuff added to the library. Again, oh, this is fun. Check this out. Here's Zap. And then here's Zap on steroids. Actually, granular, but... And then you know, if you need to make the earthquake in some 1980 film, that works really well. Then, you know, what do I have around here for do a Foley? And you got an earthquake, right? Oh my gosh. This is fun. This is the falling noise, and this is a fun trick to play with if you guys want to make patches that are just taking this and using Harmonia and set one to -12, which is 1 octave down, and one to -24. That's 2 octaves down. So what happens is this. With samples, if a sample is 2 seconds long and you take it down an octave, it's now 4 seconds long. So now you have a 2-second and a 4-second sample playing. And then if you take it down another octave, now it becomes 2, 4, it would be, I think, 8 seconds at that point. So I'm just trying to do the math because I think it is a doubling of it. So it's 8-second sample, a 4-second sample, and a 2-second sample, so that you now have, and then if you go here to your sustain and bring it up, and then add effects, you'll end up with, where is it at? I slowed the attack, added effects, distorted it out. Okay. Horrific tubular is fun. This is another fun trick if you want to have fun with some of these special effects samples. Just go over here, right-click the pitch, and say modulate with randomize, because you can, let's see, show it real quick, because I have it set to about a little more than 2 octaves. Each time you play a note now, it's all over the place. You can raise where you want, like, the middle of the range to be. And then I layered it with a sound to solidify the tone. One of the big brass samples. Right? And then I wanted just to add some noise. So I took the howitzer explosion, which normally sounds like this. It's got a vast in it, right? Just get past that. And it's a cool noise hit. So combining those three, and you have a cool, scary noise sound. So ideas like that are what are really easy to do with Omnisphere to work with in synthesis with samples. So you can do stuff like that. A distraught piano. This is using 3 sounds. Using the Furo chimes. And the distant dreams, which has that like filtering up sound, and then the space piano. So it's 3 Alberheim samples. Let's see. Let's see if we can do this. So very effective, very effective. Okay, so we can keep going a little bit more. There's some cool leads. Here's some Gary Newman. In fact, if we wanted, we could, no, we won't go there, but you can do it. Good, scary, strong. And I made it polyphonic, even though it's a lead, so you can play chords with it. Wobbly cars for the second half of the Gary Newman something. That part. Then there's Surrounded Love, I showed you. The synth sounds are so nice. Here's Bell Padology. A really easy way to get a lot of personality. Let me turn this one parameter off. It's nice, but if you have a mix going, that is going to need to be louder to be heard. By turning on something like a mod envelope to the attack, that little high chirp will cut through the mix so much nicer and let the sound sit in its natural place, you know? You know, and so the mod envelope trick, it works so nicely, and you can shorten it. If you make it shorter, make this out to be a bit more meat in the envelope shape. Now you can make it shorter, and it'll be more like a tacky attack this way. We should do a course someday just on envelopes and how to use them, because that's very different than this. There's not as much weight in the attack. So, yeah. Pitch envelopes are a great way to take any of these samples. You could take any of them. Let's go to... All you have to do is go right click on this, say modulate with mod envelope 4. It goes crazy. Go here, chooses just one spike from the simple envelope factory presets. Make it polyphonic. Turn off so it doesn't loop. Set it to note. And then shape to... As you bring this shorter, you need to make this longer. And this is too much because it's literally going through like 8 octaves. So bring down the depth. And it's pitchy, so take the release, make it short, so it returns to 0 really fast. And then what you can do is bring this down, and then this is modulatable. So you can either modulate this with the wheel, so that, or another one that's fun to do is change from wheel to velocity. So as you play harder, you get more pitchy G. Okay, and since this has kind of a soft attack, you could let's go locks. It doesn't sound like much, but that frequency change will make it stick out in the mix. So the trick is to find the right amount. You can also bring this down so that it's not 100% of the level. But if you compare this, let's go over here and say copy to the original. It's got more to it. Okay, so there's more food for thought on tricks for programming while you're having fun making patches. And it goes on and on. There's other fun synth stuff here. Captain America is really fun. This has a couple different things in the layer. And in yesterday's video, there's a bit of an homage in this. So, this has on layer A a sound with a slow pitch LFO, which is kind of a throwback tribute to a patch a friend of mine made named Michele Patchouli, the Universe patch in the M1. It was a similar, something that's just kind of orbiting in the higher frequencies with some motion in the sample. And if you want this to be more dramatic, go over here to the A layer, show LFO1, and then bring up the depth. Oh wait, it's LFO2 that's doing the slow stuff. So we'll go to LFO2. I keep forgetting to do that. So if we go to LFO2, we can bring up the range. And you get even more of the universe type of an effect. You probably want to like go to that layer now and bring up the delay even more low frequency. Stuff like that, you know. Flaming brass was fun. This is nice and it's using what did I do? Fast LFOs. Is that what I did? What did I do? Sounds like a wave shaper almost. Oh, it's the Nukem patch, which has that kind of distorted motion sound in it. And the other sounds go down, and so the Nukem, that's what it was. So it's in the actual sample from. Isn't that cool? But you combine that with the brass samples. And now you have a brass sound with stuff in it. So anyway, there's now 100 and here's my dog. So if I was to say, I think it's 149 samples or 149 patches now, it will grow. It will be close to probably 200 when it's fully done. So we'll be putting everybody's patches together that were being sent. Hey, L77 Kim 77I. Excellent stuff, like always. The quality of the sound sources are exceptional. Oh, good. I heard, Bernie. I heard that you had a hard drive situation, so I'm glad to hear you're okay. Let's see what people are talking about. So the ESC members are in the house hanging out. Cool. Yeah, sounds nice. So we're going to move. We're going to kind of pivot into talking about sampling. Making, hello, human interaction. We're going to be talking about how to get our own sounds into Omnisphere from hardware gear, right? Because most everybody, even if it's a smaller, I'm going to be controlling this with my mini brute. And so I'm putting this on my lap. Might record this as well. You'll be amazed at the sound difference between the mini brute and let's get rid of that. Go away, go away, go away, go away. So here we go. I'm going to pop up the Logic file here so you can see what I am doing as I do it. There's the pulse, and now, partly because of the filter, and the oscillators, but compare, the mini brute is really great for leads, and up here it's great for bass. Compare that to it's scary how nice the pulse sounds. The Waldorf Pulse is one of my favorite analog synths from back in the day. Horrible interface. It's right here. I don't want to move it too much because it's vintagey and has its own personality. But let's see. So you see the interface has the wonderful up and down buttons and parameters. It's got ARP, 3 oscillators, lots of modulation sources and destinations. You can do all sorts of crazy things with it, and everything's falling down. So 1 second, let me set this down. Get my lighting source back. Ugh. Come here. There. All right. So I have set up and routed the pulse into Logic. Oh. So all I need to do, I'm going to do a little bit of tweaking to this. I want to go to the sustain envelope, bring it up a bit. Okay. My level looks good. It's not noisy. If it was noisy, I would go to audio effects, and Clevgrand makes this really cool thing. If you're recording an older piece of gear that breathes and has noise, you can use Retrosphere, which is a noise reduction program. I'm using it on my voice right now. Here, I'll turn this off. And you hear my computer. I'm going to turn it on. So it's real-time noise reduction. And the way it works is that it has this little ear. You hit learn. And then you let up, and now it has a profile for the noise that's happening. And you can control how much of it you remove. You have edge controls. If I want my voice to be more edgy, get rid of the high pass filter. How I want the high end to sound. Do I want it to be emphasized a little bit? Wonderful program from Clevgrand. Not that expensive. Real-time noise reduction. So if you're trying to record some piece of gear that's just got an irritating buzz to it, you can run this on an audio channel, hit the ear while you're not playing anything, let it capture the profile of the buzz, and then bring this down to where you want the noise reduction to be at, and it's gone. So you can use that on the input channel if you need to. I don't need to. So I could just go record and just play a note. and it's recording it. Okay. So I now have a recording gear. Don't show again. So it's there. Now, if I wanted to, what I typically do is I would say, go over here to file. You could, well, let's do this. Let's chop it up a little bit. So you could use Control X for strip silence. And I want the minimum spacing, pre-attack time to be 0. Well, let's give it a little bit, like 5. Post-release, do I want any? Not much. And say, okay. All this does, it chops it into regions. It's not separate audio files. It's still one audio file. But now I can select this. I can go File, Export. Well, let's name them. Let's keep going on our little tours. So if I was to go here and choose Text Tool for my second command, I can say Waldorf. This is pulse, bass. And then I'm going to go to each one. And there was B flat 2, F3, and then the other one was B flat 3. So B flat 3. So now when I export these, it will have names. So I say export 3 regions as audio files. And I'm going to say put it to the desktop is fine. 24-bit, I could go through and custom. There. So it spit these 3 files out. So all I need to do now is go to go to this and double click down here to make a new one of that's empty. And let's say we want this to be EXS24, just for fun. And you say edit. And you go over here and let's say we take the B flat 2 one. And it's in. So I'm playing it as a sample. I typically bring the volume up to +6. It's closer to 0 dB, closer to the original recording level. Now, a couple cool other tricks here. You can go to here and you can click on this little triangle and say load audio sample. It pops up this window where I can now use these audio files. Oh wait, you know what? Am I playing this right? I guess so. It sounds so good, but the main place you'll notice the difference is when you play lower notes. So if you go load audio sample and you go over here to B flat 2, down low, hear how snappy that is still? If you were to go to here and say instead of B flat 2, B flat 3, it's softer because it was recorded here. So you have to decide, if you're working with Omnisphere, what range is important. Is the bass important? If so, you're going to record a note that's lower. So when you play down in the bass range, sounds better. If it's more general purpose use, you want to cross the whole keyboard, then you might want to be in the 3-4 range. So this would be more. Right? So that's all it takes. It's not rocket science. We could go over here. Let's go save. Let's call this, we'll just My foldering is all messed up here. So let's bring this up a bit. Shrink this. Say new folder. This is Retrosphere Volume 2 Waldorf. And we'll call this is Waldorf Bass 1. Okay. I have a cat I want to sample. What sound recorder and high quality will I need to do this? I would suggest getting something like this. You can get a microphone if you want. I love this thing to death. This is my little Tascam Mark III, DR100 Mark III. It can do 192 kilohertz audio. I just used this. Let's see what this sounds like. This could be interesting. I copied these over. Where did I put them? I put them on Sample Mass, I think. No. I think I put them on video. Yeah, here we go. Drum Circle. It's going to import. These are really high resolution audio files, so I don't know exactly what it's going to do. But let's try something. These are, I was in a drum circle a couple days ago. And I brought this to record it. So it's importing it. The audio recording quality of this thing is pretty incredible. Oh yeah, it's doing a sample rate conversion. So because it's a high sample rate conversion, it's converting it to 48K kilohertz now. Zoom Q3 is good too. A lot of people like the Zoom stuff. It's less expensive. I will tell you this, this has built-in limiting so that you can be in a situation where stuff goes way over and it doesn't distort. It still sounds wonderful. A lot of the lesser expensive recorders, you have to be really careful with levels. They're a lot more sensitive to distorting. I took this to Costa Rica. I used it in the rain. I used it all over the place. But a field recorder is great. Just because you can take it everywhere. You can be sitting in a diner and get diner sounds. You can get it, go to a football game, basketball game, get crowd, put that into your song, get your own source from all sorts of places. It's really fun to have, I've got to tell you. So that's one option. The other option is to this is a Sennheiser microphone that I'm using. Hello. And I've got it going into my Apollo on the back. Don't. And so let's see here. There we go. So, as you can see, I was distorting at times because we were playing loud. But the sound quality is just so happening. So, you can do stuff with a field recorder. That way, it's also easier to get to your cat as they're moving around the house. There's no cable. I'm kind of limited with this, with how far with this, I could put it in the middle of a cage where there's rats talking for my, whatever you need to do. It's nice in that sense. So I would suggest more field recorder for just the flexibility. Wow, we got a lot of stuff going on in this. Cool. Okay, so that's now let's look at doing one more sound. Let's do one from the Brute. As I said, it's not so good for bass. One thing that I thought was weird with this, with the mini Brute, is there's no detune, because one oscillator with shaping tools to change the oscillator. You get a pretty decent large sound from it. There is this unison saw. Let's record that. So all we got to do is go over here, hit record. Okay, so there it is. Now this one, my levels aren't quite as loud as they were with the brute, so I could go over here, functions. I need to open these in the sample editor window, open project audio, and double click this. Functions normalize, there. That's better. Now let's go Control X, strip silence, so it strips it. And this was, I was playing B flats, I believe, right? Yeah, so we have brute res B flat 3. And then what I do is just copy that. So I can go over here and say paste, brute res B flat 4. Once again, go file, export 2 regions as audio files to the desktop. There they are. We can go back to EXS24 and say edit and just say load sample and just navigate to the new sample. And say, so we'll cancel it, go instrument save as, so we save it to a new thing. This is in the wrong place, but brute reso synth. Okay. And now we it's loud. When you're recording outboard analog hardware and stuff, pay attention to the attack. Try not to make it just a waveform. Try to get something unique in there. Either with filter envelopes or with a little bit of a filter attack there. In that case, was nice. There's all sorts of things to do, little personality tweaks. And you just build up a folder of a whole bunch of samples, then you go through them and pick out your favorite ones and start writing music with them. Looping is a whole different thing. That requires other software to do reliably and well. I have, unfortunately, or fortunately for me, I have software that's not available anymore that I love to use. Keep looking for software solutions that are available to buy now. And there's a couple decent ones, but nothing like the old Rematica software tools that are out there. How noisy is that we caught up? Problem is the microphones are too noisy and my cat is not loud enough. Yeah, if you get a better field microphone, again, noise reduction software can do amazing things. Both Clevgrand, their Bruce Free that I showed you guys, that is also great. Also, Isotopes RX, this denoising stuff is incredible. Truly incredible for denoising in really high. I have higher updated versions of RX here. Well, this is RX5, but this has a full editor with this. Okay, so we could say something like this, and it shows you the waveform, and you see the noise, and you can go in and clean up the noise. I could select all of this and say, clean up the noise with either tools like, I could go here to the denoising software and process, and it will get rid of the noise gradually as it goes. So you can see where it was before to where I've gotten rid of. So RX from iZotope is truly one of the better denoising applications out there. But if you need real-time input, something simple like the Bruce Free from Clevgrand will work fine. You know? Yeah. There's my dog again. Interesting discussion you guys are having. Any questions? I'm about to wrap up. I covered what I wanted to cover. Just to say, tomorrow, Sunday at 12 p.m. is cutoff for patches. So send patches later tonight. Tomorrow up until 12 o'clock in like Los Angeles time. That's when we'll put a cutoff and try to compile everything and start building it. It'll take a day or two at least, if not more, to go through, tag, work on the library, get it into good shape, and then hopefully we'll do a live stream on Halloween and put the patches out so everybody can play with all the patches and have fun. It's fun to do stuff like that. So grab the library, grab other libraries. There'll be a Halloween sale coming up. I'm trying to figure out what we're going to do for that. Okay, yeah, Jim, good to see you. Good to see everyone. Or, yeah. That's a good point right there, Human. He said, just go and accept lo-fi for some character. Some sounds you don't want to clean. The thing is this, if you're going to play it polyphonically, if you're going to play chords, if there's lots of noise, that noise gets doubled and tripled. And so you might want to taper it a little bit if you can, so that it's still there, but it's under a little bit more control. If it's like, you know, then two of that becomes even louder, so forth. So noise is one of those things that tends to multiply itself up when you're playing chords. If you're playing single notes, you can have noisy samples and it's totally fine, you know. We will let the patches out. What a good dB level for vocal recording. The closer to 0 dB, the more you're using the full range of digital audio. You want to keep headroom when you're playing back and so forth. But when you're recording, it's good to try to get, don't let it go over 0 dB. Maybe 2 or 3 dB below 0 dB if you want. But if it's down here in this low range, like if the volume was down like this, then it's a fraction of the dynamic range. I'm not using, there's all this headroom right here I'm not using because it's down here like this, right? So do some tests. Just make sure it doesn't, if it goes over like this, then it's too loud. So bring down your recording levels. The other thing you can do is put a limiter. See how I have a limiter on this? So even check this out. Let's see if I have this at 0 dB. Even when I bring this up above 0 dB, well, actually, no, I don't think it will if like that. But if I brought my microphone level up, if I brought this up to be louder so it's way above and I'm hitting 0, this is capping it at a certain point. And I could go here and I could say, no, you need to be down here at this. So it's going to cap it right here at that dB level, even when I go way above at full volume. And FabFilter Pro L is really nice in that there's no latency. I have some really nice limiters and so forth in Universal Audio software plugins, but there's latency. So for doing real time like this, for talking, it's really hard when there's a second and a half of delay latency. So with this, you can put a cap on it so that it won't go over. Typically, especially if you're recording audio of percussion or things that are dynamic, then you want to have things to cap it so that you don't go over. That's a good safeguard. I keep my gain up pretty high for my recordings. Yeah. No, you want to be a fairly healthy recording. It's just when you're playing back, have everything down so you have a little headroom to work with dynamic range-wise, and you'll be good. Cool. Any other questions? Yeah, this is not a live cast. This is a live scream. Ha 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 ha. In fact, we should do this. We'll have this go out with where is it at? Do I have? Oh, maybe I don't have it here. So let's go like this and get the thing playing again. I love this track. It was really fun to do something like this. So we go like that, and hit play. And so, happy Halloween. Hope you're scary. Scare somebody for Halloween. And get Retrosphere and Retrosphere. Get Retrosphere. It's so scary. Okay. Peace to you all. If you have questions, feel free to email me directly. I'm happy to help any way I can. If you need patches, go to plugandgroove.com. Lots of libraries to choose from. This thing keeps growing. I have to figure out how to manage this because it's getting to be its own separate page. It's pretty funny. Costume. Oh, I could, where'd he go? Oh. And don't forget, you gotta be scary this Halloween, but cool. Ha ha ha. Okay. Oh my goodness. I should actually turn off lights so it's darker in here so we could actually hear this here. There you go. Remember, actually we gotta get back our scary song again. A 1 for the money, a 2 for the show, 3 to get ready, plug and groove's ready to go. All right. I'm gonna be embarrassed in 10 years when this is out, but you know, it's Halloween. Gotta live it up. Woo! All right. Be well. If you have questions, like I said, send them to me directly. Let's do a shout out. Elvis is in the house, exactly. Shout out from PDX. Where's your shout out coming from? Copenhagen, Denmark. Woo! And Bavaria, Camus. Yeah, it's been raining here, dog. It's been raining here too. But actually today I think it was really sunny, so we're hoping it stays for a bit. From Spain, Edmonton, Los Angeles, I love it. The shout outs from everywhere. Rotterdam, Thailand. Cox said, it's so late, dude. Blessings to you, man. From Oregon for Steve, Bavaria, right on Harold. Glad you're here, my friend. All right. Be well. Thanks for joining and supporting and rocking and rolling and Halloweening and all that kind of good stuff. And hope this helped. Hope this helped. It's really fun to make your own sounds. Oh, we should do one thing. The next step, if you're using Omnisphere, would be, of course, to put it into Omnisphere, right? So the way you do that, let's go initialize a patch. And we can now do it from this granular page with the new update of 2.5 of Omnisphere. So just go to the granular page and let's take all of these and just set them right here. Let go. It said 5. You saw that little window, right? It'll take it a second, but I'll get a message up when it's done. I love this bug. Look at the mouse. I don't know why it goes to that, but it'll do that. it's importing them. They were fairly long samples, you remember, so to do 5 of them that were fairly long, it'll take it a second or two. There. And they're in. So all you have to do now is go to the folder for this date, which is 10/27, and because I put the names at the ends of the samples, they should work where I can turn on layer B. Now, to really be precise with these, I would first use an editor. DSP Quattro 4 is great. DSP Quattro 5, they changed it to be for people that build CDs, I guess, or something, because it works so differently. So only get DSP Quattro 4. I think you can still download 4 from them, I think. I'm not sure. But I would go into the beginning of each one of these and get rid of this silence and save. Actually, we can get a little bit more out of there. Save. That's pretty good, but there's just a little bit, so we'll get rid of that. Save. You want no silence at the beginning, or else your timing will be off. You play it, there's a little latency. And it doesn't seem like much, but if you're doing really specific timing things, that much latency is quite a bit, actually. So you want to get rid of it. If you want, you can go to options to auto 0, turn that on in your sample editor so that it will automatically find a 0 point to be at so you don't have a click. Save. And save. Now, since I've done that, I have to go over to my Steam folder. And I have to navigate to Omnisphere. Let's close this all up. And go to sound sources to 1027. And I could open it and get rid of these if I wanted to. So let's get rid of these. And re-import them because I've now done edits to them. That's why you want to do all your sample editing prior to loading them into something like Omnisphere, because it's converting them. It's not using... You could delete these files after you import them into Omnisphere. It's no longer using them. It's imported them into its own format. So do this one more time and see that gap right there? That will not be there now. So it's worthwhile to do that. Okay. Is it possible to control him and his... Is it possible to control? I don't understand. Will you do a 3-cam live stream? I don't have the hardware yet to do a 3-cam live stream. I need a switcher, and I have HDMI and different types of switchers. Oh, the sound. Oh, sound names already exist, so it didn't. Or did it import them or not? Let's see here. Let's go here. Sound sources. I forgot to. Oh, it did. I think. So let's go over here and oh, and it's not, and it's gonna crash, I think. Cannot find sample. Okay, so let me refresh the sound sources. So it has these references in here, so that stopped it from actually loading the samples because it thought they existed. So I need to go back to Steam. This is what we forgot to do. Get rid of them. This is what happens when you want to import. Now we can go refresh and it should re-update and this should be empty. Yeah. So now I can take these, go to granular. Oh, let's do this. Let's get this so it doesn't have a old sample that's referencing, because that also messes it up for this type of stuff. Make sure it's fresh, initialized, new, go to granular. Now, it should do it, and it shouldn't give me an error message, I hope. We'll see. But yeah, I need some hardware to get the 3-cam thing working. And we'll see if I can do that. I will in the future for sure. Getting there. Great. Unique visiting. Yeah, new computer, ancient mouse. Yeah, this is an old mouse, so that must be what it is. And Logic wants to talk to me. 5 files successfully imported. Cool. Oh. So if we go to sample, 1027. Oh. You probably have to quit Logic and come back. It's confused somehow in the directories because I'm playing around with them and deleting them. And then so what I would do if I really wanted to do this probably would be to delete. I refreshed the browser so they're gone. Quit, come back and do it again. That way it's just got a fresh database so that it knows where everything is. It's getting confused because the same files with the same names were just there. And so it doesn't manage them quite as smoothly as it maybe should. I don't know. But anyway, you can get them in there, but do your sample editing first and then you don't have to deal with that kind of stuff, all right? Him and his fat 2 means Omnisphere 2, interpreted by a crazy voice controller. Oh. From a media mapped hardware controller. I believe you can use foot pedals and make playlists with something like MainStage. But that's not something I do, so I don't know the answer to that. Doing program changing, there's solutions out there to do that. You need to do a little research. Because I believe it has program changing support, but again, this is not something, as a sound designer making sounds, I don't deal with that, so I don't know the answer. Okay? All right, use preset light. Oh, you like this lighting? Okay, yeah, we could do this instead of the overhead lights because then it's darker in the room. And this is just a single ring light. Love the ring light. So just have it over here. And what's cool with this ring light too is you can change temperature. So I can change it from being more of a warm tone on skin to being more cool. So you can adjust it how you want it to be. Oh, while we're having fun, check this out. I just got back from, I went to, here in Portland, we have a very famous tree at the Japanese gardens here that in the fall, it just completely explodes. It's not actually done exploding. It will explode more. But these are some photos I took of it. Beautiful sucker at the Japanese gardens. I love this tree too. This came out really nice. Just the color and stuff is just insane. That's a nice couple on the bridge. I don't know who they are, but I took a picture with them in it. So, yeah, good times. All right, be well. I'm out of here. And I appreciate your support. And again, if you have questions, send them to me on the website. What do you use the ring light for? Well, I use it for light, because if it was like this, that would be not good. But ring lights are great. They are also beauty lights. A lot of people use them for putting on makeup because it's a smooth amount of light. I'm a photographer, so I use this all the time for portraits. It's really cool to catch ring light kind of circles in people's eyes. They're not that expensive. This one actually is USB powered, and I have a battery pack. So I just take this anywhere I want to go. I'll go with people to do portraits for senior portraits or something. I've done portraits at the ocean, at sunset, at waterfalls, at gardens, all sorts of places where you want a little bit extra light. It's nice to have a catch light that is not just the sunlight. So that's what the ring light is for. I have other lights here too, but that's the one that I've been enjoying the most lately. And my makeup. Yes, my makeup is important. Very much so. All right. All right. Really, I'm out of here now. So be well. I'll see you soon. See you next week. We will do a live stream on Halloween because why not? So if you're around, it's America time at night. So if it's like 8 o'clock Portland, Los Angeles time. That might be too late for some of you in the UK or not. But I'm going to hang just for a bit. And if you're around, join me and say boo, okay? And we'll play with the new sounds from everybody. And they'll be available so everybody can download them, play with them, have fun. Have a Halloween treat as a musician, you know? And it's not candy. Okay. See you guys later. Be well. Bye.